Thailand headlines never disappoint. Everything from a supposedly random beating to a Pakistani DJ in Pattaya. Thailand shells out over 4 billion baht to keep one of the world's biggest motorsport races coming to the country. 2 tourists fall victim to an awful accident on one of the country's most popular beaches. And what do you know? Terrible tourists are back at it again in Pattaya, this time featuring a knife. Boy, do we have some stories for you today, so let's dive in and see what the bowels of the internet have given us. How's it going? Welcome back to the channel. Thank you so much for being here. It is day 5 of No Chill November, I believe. I'm already starting to go a bit cross-eyed every time I think about editing a new video, but I'm gonna keep going because I'm doing it for you. In light of that, before we get started, if you could please go down, drop a like below. Our last video got sent to the shadow ban realm. Apparently YouTube is not too crazy about us featuring a story about a UK royal family member being a complete POS. So if we can bump this video up, I really appreciate it. Let's get into our first story. So as we're going through these stories, you guys may have noticed that I rarely just straight up call BS. You know what I mean? Me sitting here and reading these stories a couple days after the things happen, it's pretty hard to make a accurate judgment as to whether or not something really happened. But when it comes to this next story, I'm not sure I buy it. I don't think I believe the whole premise too much. Coming to us from Pattaya Mail. Honking doesn't please everyone, as Pakistani DJ beaten by a group of riders in Pattaya. A Pakistani DJ was attacked by a group of around 10 men believed to be a local food delivery riders after one of them ordered him to stop his motorbike and accused him of causing trouble. The 31-year-old victim, who works at a DJ at a local entertainment venue, said the assault occurred early Thursday morning in front of Wat Chai Mongkol on South Pattaya Road opposite Pattaya City School 8. The incident left him with bruises and swelling to his head and body. Now, this is where I start to call BS. I've spent a lot of time in Thailand, and granted, I have seen a lot of foreigners catch a beating from the locals, but if you guys have been here long enough, you've seen enough stories. Rarely does it just come out of nowhere. I don't think Thai people are very notorious for just seeing a foreigner and being like, let's get that guy. But according to the victim, he had just passed a traffic light when several men on motorcycles surrounded him, shouted at him to stop, and punched him repeatedly before kicking and beating him after he fell to the ground. They asked if I was looking for trouble and then started hitting me, he said. He believes the assault may have stemmed from a minor encounter 2 days earlier when a food delivery rider honked at him, and he simply asked, "Why are you honking?" He insists no argument followed, and he doesn't know if the same rider was among the attackers. Security camera footage reportedly shows the group ganging up on the victim, punching and kicking him repeatedly, and even using helmets as weapons. Despite residents shouting for them to stop, the men fled the scene on their motorcycles. So before we go any further, what do you think? Do you think this is actually what happened? You think this guy was just cruising down the road, essentially minding his own business, and then a group of 10 guys pulled up and decided to put the smackdown on him in the middle of an intersection? I'm not sure I buy it. From what I have seen, what I would imagine happened is foreigners have a tendency to ride like complete morons. I don't know what it is. I see so many of these guys just ripping and blowing right by you, almost hitting your handlebars, doing like 120 kilometers an hour, swerving all over the road. So what I would imagine happened is this guy was doing something. It is possible that maybe it does stem from the thing he said a couple nights before, but I don't know. I just don't really see a guy getting all his homies together and camping out, waiting for this dude, unless he just didn't ask the guy why he was honking. I would imagine something took place prior to this that was a little more heated than he wants to admit. I would imagine a lot of people are kind of thinking the same thing. I've seen plenty of tourists catch a beating, but usually they're kind of asking for it. Now, our next story is one that, just tickles my little bits. This is something that I think is so awesome. It is one of my favorite parts about being in Thailand. The culture is just so much different. Everybody loves it, and it is just something that Thailand takes very seriously. So I'm very excited to see this coming to us from the Tiger. Thailand splashes 4 billion baht to keep MotoGP roaring until 2031. Thailand has approved a multi-billion baht budget to extend its MotoGP hosting rights, securing the international racing event for another 5 years. The cabinet has approved the Ministry of Tourism and Sports proposal to extend Thailand's MotoGP hosting rights from 2027 to 2031. The budget set aside for the high-octane event totals 3.997 billion baht. That is a chunk, dude. MotoGP is the world's most popular motorsport event with over 800 million viewers across 207 countries tuning in via live broadcasts or attending in person. Is that true? Is MotoGP bigger than Formula One? I don't know. I'll have to check. I'll have to double check that one. I'm not sure. I know it's huge, but I figured it would be F1 by far. Thailand has hosted the championship since 2018. Every year it's been a major international success. I have yet to make it. I have never been to a MotoGP race. I want to go so bad. Maybe after we make the move to Bangkok here in a couple months, start to get a little bit more comfortable, maybe we'll try to put that on the calendar. That would be super awesome. Ideally, I could go there, get a media pass, make a video for you guys. That would be super sweet. But this, along with the bid to get F1, which looks like that's going to be a thing as well. I think, you know, over the next 5 years, Thailand motorsports are going to be even more awesome. You guys are going to be seeing a lot more of that type of stuff on this channel as well. When we get up to Bangkok, we're going to be closer to a lot of racetracks. So if that's something you would like to see, if you know you're a little bit of a gearhead, feel free to drop a sub. Now with this next story, there is definitely a lesson to be learned. This is one of those unfortunate situations that does happen pretty frequently in Thailand. I think it's kind of in the same realm as all the motorcycle accidents. It's one of those things, if you've never really experienced it firsthand, I feel like it can be hard to have the respect that is needed to kind of keep you safe. But also coming to us from the Tiger, double tragedy, Russian and Burmese drown off Nai Thon Beach. 2 foreign men drowned in separate incidents while swimming at Nai Thon Beach, Phuket, as rough seas and strong currents created deadly conditions. One of the victims was identified as 31-year-old Dmitry Zakutski, a Russian man who had been missing since Monday, November 3rd. Witnesses told police he was pulled under by a powerful wave and never resurfaced. The operation stretched into yesterday, November 4th, with officials from the Talang District Office and Saku Village headmen and Bang Tao lifeguards joining the effort. Jet skis were deployed to comb the area. Zakutski's body was recovered at approximately 5 p.m. Just hours after his body was found, another drowning occurred on the same beach. A 22-year-old Myanmar national was pulled from the surf around 2:30 p.m. Rescuers performed CPR and rushed him to the Talang hospital, but he was later pronounced dead, according to the Phuket News. He was identified as a Myanmar national. Since it is the Gulf of Thailand, the ocean doesn't necessarily look too gnarly. There's not super huge waves, but especially down in Phuket, down south, you're getting closer to open ocean. So those things can change. And a lot of the times, even if things look completely fine on the surface, there can be undertows, there can be other currents, especially this time of year when a lot of storms are blowing through. So if you've never spent time in the ocean, especially if you're in the south of Thailand, a lot of the time they have flags on the beach. If there are red flags out, that means don't get in the water. A great rule for the ocean is if you don't see anybody else in the water, you probably shouldn't be in the water. It's one of those things that until you get into some, heavy situations, you might not be able to respect it as much as you should. Luckily, when I was a kid, I think I was about 5. I was in Hawaii. I was playing in some tide pools. I turned my back to the water and I got absolutely smoked by a wave, got slammed into the rocks. Ever since then, I have given the utmost respect to the ocean. One of those things, it can be very deceiving, especially in Thailand, in Phuket. You're partying, you're having some drinks. I'm a great swimmer. There's been a few times when I was like drunk at a pool party, jumped in the pool and was like, oh, I'm about to drown. Pay attention to the flags and everything. There's also current and surf reports on Google. If you do want to go out, you want to get your swim on, it's a good idea to check those just to make sure you stay safe. And here we go again. We got another one in Pattaya, boys. I don't know what, it seems like there has definitely been a surge in the past few months. Maybe it's because rainy season is just seeming to go for months longer this year. Maybe people are getting a little stir crazy. I don't know what the deal is, but coming to us from the Tiger as well. Knife-wielding tourist arrested after Pattaya Beach scare. A foreign man was arrested on Pattaya Beach after he allegedly caused a disturbance, alarming tourists while carrying a knife and scissors, police said. Pattaya city officials and local police rushed to the beach after receiving reports of a foreign man behaving erratically near an umbrella and sunbed area. Yeah, because that narrows it down. That could be all of Pattaya. Anyways, the incident, which occurred in a busy part of Pattaya Beach, left residents and holidaymakers on edge as the man reportedly acted aggressively and caused a public public disturbance. Officers arrived quickly and found the man still on site, visibly agitated and alarming people nearby. Upon searching his belongings, police discovered a knife and a pair of scissors, raising concerns about public safety in one of Thailand's top tourist destinations. The man was taken into custody without incident and transported to Pattaya City Police Station. His identity and nationality have not yet been disclosed. It's one or the other. Either their nationality is the headline they lead with, or they don't tell you who it is, but I'll give you guys a guess. I did a little bit more research and there is some speculation as to where this guy was from, but I'll give you guys a guess. Drop it down in the comments. I'll give you 2 guesses, but you'll probably only need 1. Quote unquote, incidents like these are handled swiftly to protect both locals and visitors. We will not tolerate behavior that disrupts public peace or endangers others. City officials also use the opportunity to remind the public, pay attention to this guys, that anyone witnessing or threatening suspicious activity can report it around the clock by calling Pattaya City hotline at 1337. The line is staffed 24 hours a day and is available for multiple languages. Things like this rarely happen in Thailand, but especially when it comes to that hotline, guys, if you're going to spend a decent amount of time in the country, one of the things that I did when I first got here, which I think was a great idea, luckily I haven't had to use it yet, is 1, save the emergency number for like emergency services if you get in an accident or you're having a heart attack or something, God forbid. Then you can also save the city police number and the tourist police number. That is a big one. The tourist police, there's always going to be multiple languages there, so no matter what you speak, you can talk to somebody. Another one that is good to save is your embassy. God forbid you ever get into some type of situation, have those numbers saved in your phone just to be safe. Luckily, nobody got hurt in this. It doesn't sound like this type of thing does not happen often, but between this and the people walking down the middle of the street butt naked lately, I don't know what's going on in Pattaya and Phuket especially. I don't know, maybe a bad dose of something came in. People are trying to party and they're getting a little buck wild, going a little stir crazy from the rain. Who knows? But what do you guys think? Where was this guy from? Let me know down in the comments. If you did make it this far in the video, thank you so much for being here. If you've been keeping up with No Chill November, our daily videos, I really appreciate that. Like we said, our last one got shadow banned by the almighty algorithm. So if you'd like to help us out with this one, I really appreciate it. If you would like to be updated every time we upload a new video this month, which is every single day, the subscribe button is down below. Also, guys, if there's any stories you would like to see us feature on here, or if that you would like to talk about maybe in our live streams, which we do once a week, feel free to drop them down in the comments, or you can shoot me a DM on Instagram as well. But that is all for me today. Thank you so much for being here. I hope you have a wonderful day. We'll see you later. Hit the door, bud.